This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. 66-year-old woman shot dead in Nagahead, Portmore. A 66-year-old woman was gunned down during a hail of bullets after gunmen invaded Casanore Drive in Nagahead, Portmore in St. Catherine on Friday evening. The identity of the deceased has not yet been ascertained at this time. She is believed to be a vendor. Reports reaching the news are that heavily armed masked men entered the community about 7:30 p.m. Friday and opened fire at residents. When the gunshots subsided, the senior citizen was found suffering from bullet wounds. She was pronounced dead at hospital. While a motive have not been established for the killing, the police say several violent acts and conflicts in the community have linkages to persons residing overseas. Investigations are ongoing. JCF reports increase in domestic violence amid COVID pandemic. The Jamaica Constabulary Force is reporting an increase in domestic violence during the COVID-19 pandemic. The JCF did not provide supporting statistics, but is encouraging victims to report incidents of domestic violence. Do not bear it alone, said Detective Inspector Georgia Lowe of the Community Safety and Security Branch. The JCF currently has 10 domestic violence centers in Kingston, Clarendon, St. Anne, St. Catherine, St. Elizabeth, St. Mary, St. Thomas, and Westmoreland. Lowe said the JCF has officers trained in conflict resolution who are able to diffuse situations before they become violent. Mediating is a big part of what we do, she said. Head of the Public Safety and the Security Branch Assistant Commissioner of Police, Gary McKenzie, is also encouraging men affected by domestic violence to report it. We usually have the men who shy away from coming forward and reporting. So I want to encourage us as men, that let us not sit down and be shy in terms of seeking help, he said. Man freed of firearm offenses after a year in jail. A man who spent a year in custody on false charges brought against him by the police wept in court last week when the judge told him he was free to go. "You don't know what I went through," was all 34-year-old Barbara Xavier Thompson of a Kingston 11 address had the energy to say when he realized that he would be released from custody. The outcome of this case has led attorney at law Peter Champagne QC, who represented Thompson, to call for the need to move from this practice of merely the say-so of a police officer, asserting that a firearm was recovered because we now have the technology to do further tests, as was done in Thompson's case. This case represents the latest example of many where it is imperative to, as a matter of course, have illegal firearms purportedly recovered from accused persons tested for DNA or fingerprints, Champagne said. Thompson's ordeal began on the afternoon of December 16, 2020, when he was shot and injured by a policeman. He was walking towards two policemen who ordered him to put his hands in the air. Although he obeyed, one of the policemen pointed his M16 rifle in Thompson's direction and fired, hitting him. Thompson was hospitalized for about 3 days and then taken to a police lockup. According to the policeman, when Thompson was ordered to put his hands in the air, he pulled a firearm from his waistband and pointed it in their direction. This resulted in one of the policemen pointing his M16 rifle and firing at Thompson. The cop testified in the gun court in Kingston that he fired his weapon out of fear of being shot by Thompson. The policemen said Thompson ran after he was shot, and they followed a trail of blood that led them to a house where Thompson emerged using a little girl as a shield. On searching the yard, the police said they found a gun resembling the one Thompson had in his possession. Under cross-examination by Champagne and attorney-at-law Jav Grant, who also represented Thompson, it was revealed that the man had been shot in his back. The police also admitted that they did not see any blood in the area where the gun was found. Champagne pointed out that the police version of what happened was incredible and was inconsistent with the area on Thompson's body where he received the gunshot injuries. He said also that Thompson was shot in his back without justification and said further that the gun was planted. After the Crown closed its case, the judge upheld a no-case submission by Champagny that the prosecution did not mount a viable case for Thompson to answer. Thompson was freed of charges of illegal possession of firearm, illegal possession of ammunition, and assault at common law. Champagny told the news last week that one of the strong points in Thompson's case was that the gun purportedly found in the yard was subjected to ballistics and DNA testing, and the test did not suggest that Thompson came into contact with the firearm. He said there was also no gunpowder residue on either Thompson's hand or the firearm, and that no blood was found on the weapon. The Independent Commission of Investigations was part of the investigation and had tests conducted in respect of the firearm, Champagny said. The attorney said that Indicom took an interest in the case because of the way in which Thompson was shot. Crime is overwhelming in Jamaica, and it is all the more reason the evidence presented in court must be cogent to avoid any miscarriage of justice, Champagny added. Thompson said he had a very rough time in custody and was constantly worried about the well-being of his 3 children and their mother. Although I am upset that I had to spend a life of living hell in jail, what I would like right now is a job so I can take care of my 3 children, he told the news. St. Ann top cop aims for less murders in 2022. The St. Ann police are striving for another significant reduction in murders this year. Head of the St. Ann Police, Senior Superintendent Dwight Powell said that law enforcers in the Northeast Jamaica Parish will be going the extra mile to continue with the strategy of increased community-based policing, which contributed to a 21% reduction in murder. One of the things that we will continue to do this year is to increase our community engagement, which is one of our public interaction measures. We will be partnering with our stakeholders and residents to build the relationship between the police and citizens to find a solution to the issues of crime, Powell told the news. In 2021, St. Ann recorded 55 murders compared to 70 in the previous year. Last year, our policing efforts bore some fruits as opposed to murders in 2020. But 55 people being murdered in St. Ann is much too high for us to be gratified about, though we are thankful for the reduction. For this year, we are looking for more success as it relates to reduction. We are going to ask the full cooperation of all our residents in the parish as it relates to making St. Ann one of the safest places in Jamaica, Powell added. The lawman also credited the success to effort by members of his team, whom he said had the parish's best interest at heart. I want to express appreciation to the staff for the tremendous effort they made as it relates to policing across the division. Last year, we did a lot of retooling as it relates to our human resource, and I believe that did extremely well. There was also divine intervention on our part as we held our Monday morning station devotion sessions, he said. Domestic violence, Powell detailed, was the main contributor to the murders, which he said the police actively tried to quell last year. His advice is for citizens to find alternatives other than resorting to violence to solve their conflicts. When we analyzed our murders last year, approximately 50% resulted from domestic violence, and so that number for conflict among people who know each other is too much, he said. We will be focusing heavily on domestic violence reduction for this year, and we are thankful that we have a domestic violence intervention center at the Alexandria Police Station, and we are going to ask that people who are having disputes, especially at the southern belt of the parish, seek to go to the center, as that will help to resolve the issues, Powell continued. Since the start of 2022, the parish has recorded 5 murders, similar to the same period of last year. 2 of the most recent occurred on Thursday, involving Carlton Miller, a tour bus driver of Bel-Air Runaway Bay, who was found stabbed to death on Mount Corbett Main Road in Discovery Bay, and Rohan Wilson, who was also stabbed to death by a man said to be mentally challenged in Steertown. Investigations are still ongoing in the murder of Carlton Miller, and we are asking citizens who might have information to assist us by coming forward as we continue to work towards making St. Ann a safe place, Powell told the news. The mentally ill man is in police custody.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.